Indirect proofs. Okay, shh, quiet. An indirect proof, the way you do these is you assume the opposite is true. Then show that's not possible. Okay, so an indirect proof are actually the easiest ways to do proofs. Okay, because you can make up numbers if you want. So there's one coming up here where we have an indirect proof right here. We're given that ABC is a right triangle. And it tells us the measure of B equals 90. And we want to prove it doesn't have an obtuse angle. Okay, so an indirect proof tells you, tells you to assume the opposite of what you're trying to prove. So what's the opposite of doesn't have an obtuse angle? Has a. So let's assume it has an obtuse angle. This is how you would write it out. And then you can make up any number you want. Since they already tell us this, that angle B is 90, choose either A or C to be your obtuse. Angle A equals, we'll just pick any obtuse angle you want.
135.
Huh?
137.
100. Okay. Since angle A plus angle B plus angle C has to equal what? 180. Then if you put your numbers in here, 100 plus 90 plus C equals 180. So when you solve this, 190 plus C equals 180. And then you subtract 190, and what do you get? You get angle C is equal to negative 10.
No.
That's not possible. So you just say not possible.
So we could have picked any obtuse angle.
Yeah, you could have picked 150 if you wanted to, or 91. Not possible. And now here's an abbreviation I don't think I've shown you before. They use it a lot in science. I don't know if you have. 3 dots like this means therefore. Have you seen that before?
No.
Therefore, it can't have an obtuse. Okay? That's it. So we just assume the opposite of this, and then usually these types of proofs have numbers that you put in there, and then you just figure it out and you get some number that's not possible like this, a negative angle. So that proved what we assumed can't be true, so the opposite must be true. Make sense? Now, the nice thing is you don't really have to do any of these indirect proofs. You just need to know what they are. So, an indirect proof just means assume the opposite, show it's not true. Now, today's assignment doesn't have any indirect proofs in it. It deals with this hinge theorem, which is just like the stuff from yesterday. If angle S is 100 and angle W is 80, which side is going to be longer? RT or VX?
RT.
Right. That's all it is. That's the hinge theorem. The wider it's open, the longer this side has to be. Right?
So all we're doing is like matching sides.
Yeah, saying which side is greater. So what you're using the greater than or less than signs. You would say RT is greater than VX. So in this picture, it also works with angles. Since this is 8, this is 7. If you compared the angles, angle A is greater than angle D. You don't have to put the
So we
measure.
just
You
take
can
the-
just say angle A is greater than.
We just take the same angle as the, on the other picture and then we find out what it is.
And everyone understand why A is greater than D? Because this side is 8 and that side 7. That's all that the hinge theorem is. It's the same stuff that we did yesterday. So, in this picture here, which of the following is a possible length for MN? This is multiple choice now. It's either going to be 16, 19, or 22. Well, looking at this, you see these two sides are the same as these two. So they have to be the same before you can compare them. 50 is greater than 42, right? So that means this has to be greater than that. So which one of these could it be? It has to be 16. It's not equal to 19 because if it was equal, then they'd have the same measure. And it can't be 22 because then that means this angle would have to be bigger than that. So same thing with the angles. Here they have this side is 3.7 and this is 4.3. So since this side is bigger, and you notice the sides are marked equal, this angle has to be bigger. So what's some possible measures? 25. Since this is 20, it can't be equal because then the sides would be equal. It can't be less because that's bigger. Okay, so really, well, there's one other one I got to show you that's not on here, but you're just going to put in whether they're greater than or less than. You'll have a picture like this. AB is less than YZ because 50 is less than 53. Angle 1 right here is opposite of 14. So is it greater than angle 2 or less than? Greater because 2 is opposite of 13. Now, here's the other type of problem. There's two just like this on your assignment. It has to do with, we're going to be doing these later in the book. It's vectors. So this has to do with airplanes. I think they have you and your friend. You fly due east 110 miles. Then east 20 degrees northeast. Okay, I'll leave this up here for when you get to these two problems on your assignment. It talks about you and your friend flying from an airport. So you need to know how to draw these. You fly due east. Everyone know their directions?
Yes.
North.
East, west, south.
Which one's this one? East, south, west. Never eat soggy what? Waffles. Okay, you fly due east, so you're going this way. 110 miles. Then this is the one that you got to figure out. East, 20 degrees northeast. So northeast is up and to the right, right?
Right.
So what that is this 20 degrees is formed with the horizon. Since I'm going east, that means I just veer up at 20 degrees. So that means if you keep going straight, you don't. You go 20 degrees this way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You go 70 miles there.
That's pretty cool. He
So you travel a total of 180 miles, right? Your friend goes the opposite direction. They're going due west 110 also. I should have made this south, but that's okay. You guys know the difference between southwest and northwest?
Yeah.
If it was southwest, they'd be going down this way, northwest is up.
Yeah.
They go 30 degrees northwest, so that means they veer up, instead of going straight, they veer up at 30 degrees.
Oh,
And they also fly 70 miles.
okay,
So you both travel 180 miles.
okay.
They're wondering who is further from the airport.
The blue one.
The red one.
How do you know it's the blue one?
Oh, no, it's the
Because the angle's less, so it's out more. And
If
now-
you look at here,
Good job, Melvin.
since this went up 20 degrees, that means this is a 160 degree angle. Since this went up 30, that means this is a 150 degree angle. 160 is wider, which means this would be the longer length. So that would be you are further away from the airport, even though you flew the same amount of miles.
That is.
So there's two problems like that. The other ones are just greater than or less than.